Welcome to USISPF's second ever Conversation 6 platform. Today, I am delighted to be joined by President and CEO Dr. Mukesh Aghi. Dr. Aghi, welcome.
Thank you, Akshab.
Thank you. Well, of course, it's been a scintillating week with the Trade Policy Forum, Ambassador Catherine Tai's visit to New Delhi. That concluded. If you were to sum up the key highlights, what were your key takeaways from the Trade Policy Forum?
I think number one is that both countries would like to have a much stronger, broader, and deeper economic partnership. US companies need access to the Indian market, and India needs access to the US market and its capital and its technology. So, so that was a good starting point, and I think basically they agreed to hold the TPF Trade Policy Forum, which is a platform in trying to sort out whatever the open issues have between the two countries.
Right, absolutely. And you've said many times in the past, right now, that the current bilateral trade between India and the United States is $150 billion. If as we know, Minister Goyal on our AGM has spoken about trying to raise that to $1 trillion target by the year 2030. And for that to happen, most of the bilateral trade has to come from the United States, right? So, how do you think the TPF is a key start to increasing those trade flows?
I think TPF is a platform to remove the irritant on trade flow. You have to understand that, for example, India's IT export market is approximately $150 billion. But if you look at the IT spending in the US, is a couple of $1 trillion. Or you look at the generic drugs exports from India, or you look at from US into India, the India civil aviation market is growing dramatically, substantially. That's an opportunity for US companies to basically get better share of the market. So I think the trade flow opportunities are tremendous, and the TPF platform provides a mechanism to remove those irritant, so the trade can increase on both sides.
And absolutely, you mentioned in the past as well that that it's important to look at smaller things like early harvest deal, and no point trying to boil the ocean, to use that phrase, about looking at a larger trade deal. What is the significance that you see right now that a TPF could lead to an early harvest deal over trying to think more ambitiously of a larger trade deal, because there's so many little irritants that both sides have to sort out?
I think we have to look at differently because India is a growing market and US is a developed market, and you cannot boil the ocean by having a broad based FTA signed because it takes time. And I think we need to start looking some kind of a mechanism where you verticalize the agreements, be it on the defense side, be it on the medical service side or agriculture side. Let's verticalize it, sort out each issues in each vertical, and keep on signing the agreements. I think if we drive from the vertical approach, it'll be easy to sort out issue rather than just trying to boil the full ocean.
And that's a fair point in terms of issue by issue. And going into that Pacific, we know that the United States has spoken many times about India's market access issues. India, of course, wants the GSP benefits restored, which of course is now up to the Congress to do that. Do you think it's a bit of a standstill at this point, or can there still be small agreements that we can move towards, without just GSP benefits, or will GSP have to be the elephant in the room that gets solved before we can even talk about early harvest deal?
I don't think so that GSP is the elephant because you have to look at it from India's export perspective. All the categories under GSP
Mm,
are the fastest export of India into the US.
mm.
So GSP is not a showstopper, but it will help these exporters to export more if some of the benefits is restored back to these exporters itself. I think the intent on both sides is to find a solution, and TPA platform provides that a mechanism to sort out whatever the open issues are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that mechanism, and speaking of mechanisms, we have another multilateral forum. On my last question, we have got the Quad Summit, and we got India and the United States also involved in a Middle East Quad. Do you see this era of bilateral ties strengthening through multilateral, because we've seen India and Australia sign a mini FTA courtesy the Quad Summit, and India and Japan increasing trade. Do you think the Quad Summit could help push India and the United States now to agree to more of economic collaboration, given the elephant in the room is China right now?
Well, when you have a tectonic shift in power, and you have a country such as China trying to change the global order, uh, then what happens is the uh, national security which takes a priority, and under the national security you can drive the economic agenda. And I believe Quad provides a mechanism for these countries, while they look at each other from a defense perspective, they can also drive economic agenda under that umbrella.
Mukesh Aghi, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time here.
Thank you, Akshay.